Okay, I want to start with a statistic I found in the London Property Digest that is genuinely mind-bending.
Mm.
If you bought a flat in Britain, say, between 1995 and 2017, you basically bought a winning lottery ticket.
Right.
Their value went up by 387%. That actually beat houses, which, only rose 323%.
Really was the golden age of the apartment. But that feels like ancient history now, doesn't it?
It really does.
Because today we are doing a deep dive into what the data calls the tombstone date. That's 2017.
The tombstone date.
Yeah. Because after that, the trend didn't just cool off, it completely snapped. Houses are up, nearly 40% since then?
And flats.
Barely 11%. And in London, it's even worse. Average flat prices have actually fallen.
So that's our mission today. We need to unpack this huge decoupling. Why did the music just start so abruptly for flats in 2017?
Well, the sources we're looking at point to what they call a triple whammy, 3 sort of structural breaks that all hit the market at the same time.
And the first one is the big one, I think.
Oh, yeah. The leasehold scandal.
We should probably define that really quickly because it's a very British and, frankly, a bizarre concept if you're not used to it.
It really is. Unlike almost anywhere else, when you buy a flat here, you usually don't own the building or the land.
You're essentially just buying the right to occupy a slice of air for 100 years or so, the lease.
Exactly. And you pay ground rent to the person who does own the land, the freeholder.
And the scandal was that developers started selling these leases with ground rents that would double every 10 years.
Which is just a financial time bomb. It turns what should be an asset into a huge liability.
Of course, and the banks figured this out and just refused to lend on them.
And the report we read is pretty brutal. It describes the government's recent fixes as just lipstick on the proverbial pig.
So the reputational damage is deep. The trust in the very idea of owning a flat it's just been shattered.
Which made the market incredibly fragile. And then the second killer hit. The Grenfell Tower fire in 2017. That tragedy didn't just expose safety failures, it froze the liquidity of the entire market overnight.
It was a total immediate repricing of risk. Suddenly, owning a flat meant you might be on the hook for, tens of thousands in cladding remediation bills.
Your hands-off investment suddenly became a high-risk liability.
And you couldn't get out.
You were trapped. Lenders wouldn't touch a flat without a safety certificate, and getting one could take years. That chilling effect is still there. Buyers are terrified.
Which leads us right to the third killer, doesn't it? The money just walked away.
The buy-to-let investor. They used to be the floor under the flat market. They were the main buyers for a lot of these new builds.
And the government basically chased them off.
Well, they hiked stamp duty. They removed tax relief on mortgage interest. You combine higher taxes with prices that are going nowhere.
The yield is gone.
It's gone. So institutional money, which is rational, it just looked at the math and said, nope. And it moved on to a housing estates, mainly.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting for me. I want to challenge the idea that this is all just about English leasehold law or cladding.
The Scotland data.
Exactly. The data from Scotland is this fascinating counterpoint.
It's a perfect control group, really. In Scotland, the tenure system is much closer to what's called share of freehold. You don't have these toxic leasehold issues.
And yet even there, houses still massively outperformed flats, 49% growth versus 38%.
It's not just the legal scandals.
No. It signals something deeper, right?
Yeah.
A post-pandemic shift in what people actually want.
Space, a garden, control, not being reliant on some faceless management company.
And that preference shift is what finally broke the whole idea of the property ladder.
This is what the notes call the functional breakdown.
Right. Historically, a flat was the first rung.
Yeah.
You buy it, it goes up in value, you use that equity to trade up to a house. Simple.
But if the flat's value slatlines, or even drops, the whole mechanism fails. You're trapped on that first rung.
So the flat has failed its main economic function. It's no longer a wealth builder.
It's a wealth trap.
And this creates what our source calls the policy paradox.
Yes. This is the massive strategic headache. To meet official housing targets, the UK needs to increase the delivery of new build flats by 111%.
Because cities like London can't build out, they have to build up.
But the market is screaming no.
So you have a planning system that demands high-density flats.
And a market of buyers and lenders that is absolutely terrified of them. That's the paradox.
So anyone looking at price comparisons from, say, 2015 is missing the point entirely.
Completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
A flat today is a fundamentally different asset class. The risk profile has been transformed.
So to wrap this all up, the British flat didn't just die of natural cyclical causes, it was kind of
It
killed.
was killed by a convergence of scandal, safety fears, and a real fundamental change in how we all want to live. A structural failure.
So here's the thought to leave you with.
If buyers are scared, investors have left, and banks are wary, who is actually going to build the high-density cities we supposedly need for the future?
We need the buildings, but we seem to have completely destroyed the business model that creates them.